What is up, everyone? And finally, welcome back to Enter the CineVault. So I am finally back to the channel, and the whole point of this video is going to be to catch everyone up and kind of just go over why I was gone for so long. But then we're definitely going to jump into some movie talk. I want to go over everything I've seen in the theater since back in about July. And then, of course, we're going to close the video out with what I have coming up for the channel. I have quite a few ideas coming up. So without further ado, let's jump right in. So aside from just life getting in the way, a hectic work schedule, and just being really busy through the summer, as you can see, there's been quite a few changes around this space that I'm in. So this room that I'm in really needed to get rearranged, reorganized. So it took me a while to get this room in order, but as you can see now, this is what it looks like. It took me a lot to just move furniture around, get things organized, and just get this place in order. And I'm finally back to what we have here. And then aside from that, it was getting this desk set up back in order. So I kind of moved an old desk around the room and then decided I needed a new desk and a whole new setup. So I finally got this all in order as well. So I'm finally happy with everything I have going on so I can finally get back to the channel and do these videos. And also more on the back end, I wanted to kind of put more focus into the channel, update the branding, update the intro, update the outro, and kind of get it looking a lot more streamlined and uniform across the whole channel. So I hope you all enjoy the new look. And with that out of the way, let's jump into some movies. So first up on the list was Jurassic World Rebirth. And I wasn't exactly fiending to get out to the theater to see this, but I was kind of bored on a Monday night, had some time, and decided, why don't we go check out Jurassic World? The sad part is, I lasted about 30 minutes into the movie because of one of the most insufferable families in front of me that I have ever experienced at the movie theater. So it was just constant talking and interrupting and digging through their bags of candy and snacks and just being very noisy, on top of an older daughter who just kept pulling her phone out, bright screen, and just being very distracting. So unfortunately, I lasted about a half an hour and I called it quits and walked out of the theater. I need to go back and revisit Jurassic World now that it's on streaming. Next up was Superman, and I'm not huge on superhero movies, but this was one that kind of had my interest that I felt like going out to see, and I had some fun with it. There was a lot of good action sequences and really minor interruptions this time around, but my theater quality was pretty poor. The picture quality and the sound just weren't really up for a kind of really good experience in the theater. So I just decided, let's buy the 4K Steelbook. And I checked it out a second time once I got that in, had a lot more fun with it. And I'm looking forward to see where this next chapter of the DCU goes. Next up was I Know What You Did Last Summer. And I was sort of looking forward to it until I got to the theater and actually watched the movie. This cast of characters for me was not likable at all. It was a big rehash of 97 and constant reminders of 1997, like we haven't seen that movie already. And then I just thought the ending was just such an odd twist. Like, I get it. It made sense to go with that choice, but at the same time, it didn't really feel satisfying. And then you gave us sequel bait. Why? After that was House on Eden, and if you guys remember, I did a video on House on Eden a little while back, so I was sort of looking forward to it. And I got out there pretty much day one to check it out, and it was decent for a low-budget independent horror movie. I kind of commend them on the effort, yet it kind of lacked a few things for me. So I would have liked to see more suspense and a little bit of a better choice instead of the overall storyline that was going on. It seemed to have a little bit of trouble with figuring out whether or not it was trying to lean paranormal or something else. And the split between those just kind of didn't really balance too well for me. And then by the end result, and we see what really happens, it was a little bit underwhelming. Following House on Eden was Bambi the Reckoning, and I was sort of looking forward to this one because I was curious to see how dark they continue to go inside the Twisted Childhood universe. And to my surprise, this was a little bit more lighthearted than I expected. It was a decent attempt at a Bambi horror movie, about as best as they could do, if I was to guess. But they managed to even pack some emotion into the ending of this movie, which was a surprise for what this universe is. Next up, we have Weapons, and Weapons was somewhat disappointing for me. I was looking forward to checking this out. I even lucked out and got a promotional screening invite before the movie came out, about 2 days early. And to my surprise, about 100 people showed up for this. So it was a packed theater, and I wasn't really expecting the dark humor on the level that it was inside of Weapons. So sadly, that killed it for me. I lasted about an hour the first showing, and I walked out because the audience just could not stop laughing through the whole thing. But I went back a couple days later to finish the movie and check it out. The first 2/3 of the movie had my attention. And then we get to the third act, we get the reveal, we find out what's going on, and that's kind of where it deflated and just went downhill for me. And then that comedic ending just really took me out of it. So Weapons really didn't live up to the hype for me. Following Weapons was Strange Harvest, and this one was kind of interesting because I wasn't, again, exactly rushing out to the theater to go see this, but it was an interesting concept until I got there. And then I'm watching the movie, and it turns into something pretty much like Saw meets the Blair Witch Project meets a Netflix true crime documentary. And like I said, the concept was cool, but I just don't think this was something that needed a theatrical release. Interesting killer, interesting concept, but this didn't need to go to theaters. Now we finally get to my most anticipated movie of the year, which was Hell House LLC Lineage. This is the 5th installment in the franchise, and I was really curious to see this switch from found footage over to narrative. And now I can finally speak on this. I lucked out and was able to get an early screener for this movie. So I saw this back in late July, mid to late July, and I couldn't really talk much about it because I didn't want to spoil the movie. I don't think there was an embargo on it, but I didn't want to get into that territory before more people had a chance to see the movie. Even with seeing the movie early, I still wanted to get out there August 20th and check this out as soon as possible. So I get to my theater, 7 o'clock showing, and it's pretty crowded. There's about 50 people in the theater. I was very surprised to see that kind of turnout for the movie. And then I realized who all these people were. I get to the theater and I noticed 2 people, and I think they're from the movie, but I'm not 100% sure. And then there's about 35 people behind me, and it is all of the family of the assistant director. So to my surprise, for my screening at Hell House Lineage, we had 2 of the actors and the assistant director in attendance for the movie. So I thought that was cool. That was something I was not expecting at all. And then to my surprise at the very end, the actors and the director went down to the bottom of the theater, picked up a microphone, and then they did about a 20-minute Q&A with the audience. So they asked questions about the movie, what the audience thought, and then they took questions from the audience. Luckily, I was smart enough to remember, let me grab my phone and record this. So I have 20 minutes of footage of this entire Q&A, and I think I have plans to do a video for Lineage a little deeper to get more into the movie itself, and I want to include that Q&A session for all of you to see. After Hell House was a Toxic Avenger, and I have to say this one was a ton of fun. Pretty much the epitome of a 2025 trauma movie. If you're familiar with trauma, you know they're wild, they're wacky, off the wall, and this movie lived up to every single bit of that. You had an over-the-top plot, over-the-top villains, somewhat simple story between the 2 main characters, but just overall a ton of fun, a ton of vulgarity, and a ton of gore. After Toxic Avenger was The Conjuring Last Rites, and this was another one I was really looking forward to. I was about 20 minutes late to my theater, so I did miss the beginning, but it has since hit streaming, and I was able to watch the full movie. And unfortunately, this one just kind of falls in the same boat that The Conjuring 3 did, where they focus a little more outside of the possession story on other things. This was pretty much a send-off to Ed and Lorraine Warren. So they're closing out the Conjuring series with this movie, and it was just very predictable. A lot of the same jump scares, just a lot of repeat gags over and over. Very predictable, and overall, sadly, just disappointing. After The Conjuring was The Black Phone 2, and this one was a very pleasant surprise. It feels very much in the same as the original movie, while at the same time being kind of different, and I did like the character focus shift from Finn over to Gwen, and really focusing on that ability she has in her dreams, and that's the way the grabber comes back, and the climax on the frozen lake in that winter camp setting was amazing. So I had a lot of fun with Black Phone 2, really looking forward to picking up that 4K. After Black Phone 2 was Shelby Oaks, and this was another one I was looking forward to. It was an interesting mix of somewhat found footage, but somewhat narrative. And the overall story, something that had my interest from the trailer. You had a missing girl and her sister basically out to find her at any means necessary. And overall, I had fun with Shelby Oaks. I don't think it rewrote the found footage genre, but like I said, a lot of fun. Had a lot of fun checking it out. And now to round things out, we have Predator Badlands. And another one I wasn't really itching to go see at the theater, but decided to go check it out. I do enjoy the first 2 Predator movies, but this one had Disney's fingerprints all over it. I need my Predators hunting down humans and ripping out spines. So that's going to wrap up everything I've seen in the theater since July, and now let's get into some upcoming video ideas and things I have coming for the channel next. So first on the agenda is going to be a review for Halloween Aftermath. I kind of owe James and Cole that in return for getting a chance to see the movie early. It was a project that I helped back and was very supportive of, and I do overall have to say I really enjoyed that product that they gave us. So be on the lookout for a Halloween Aftermath review coming soon. Next up, I might do a deeper dive on House on Eden because I do appreciate the independent, low budget effort that was put forward. And I kind of want to dive more into what I enjoyed versus what I would have liked to see when it comes to House on Eden. So that might be the next one that I do. After that, I really want to dive into Hell House Lineage because there was some surprising fan division after this movie came out. I almost called it the Halloween Ends effect, where there was a handful of people who just really did not like this movie. And I was very surprised because the Hell House fan base is very devoted. They really follow the storylines. They really love these movies. So when we got some backlash when it came to Lineage, I was just taken by surprise. So I kind of want to dive deeper into what went on in Lineage and maybe why the fan divide ended up the way it was. I also want to thank everyone who's been watching the channel and checking things out while I've been gone because my analytics have shown that there's been views, there's been likes, there's been some traction on the channel since I've been away. And my break was never supposed to extend this long. But like I said, kind of life got in the way and just a lot of things were a little bit hectic for some time. But I finally, knew it was time to get back to the channel. Finally wanted to sit down, get this video done. And I'm looking forward to, upcoming projects to bring here on the channel for everyone. And in closing, thank you all for checking this video out. If you like what you see here, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, don't forget, watch more movies.